Hey guys, and welcome to Construct 101. Today we'll be looking at the scroll to behavior. Alright, so in order to test the scroll to behavior out, we're going to use another behavior on Blocky. So first, don't worry about the details on this one just yet, but I'm just going to add a direction. That way we can control Blocky with the keyboard. Now I'm going to increase the max speed to 500 here, and I'm just going to make it left and right. Keep it simple and no turning, no setting angle. Okay, so we'll just leave it at that. So what that does, just so you have an idea, this is what it does. Okay, so right now basically you can move Blocky around, and yeah, Blocky moves out of the scene. Now in order, okay, so let's do it this way. Okay, I'm going to add scroll to, so next one on our list, to Blocky himself. Now let's right click on scroll to and have a look at what the manual says. The scroll to behavior simply centers the view on the object with the behavior. It is a shortcut for the scroll to object system action. However, it also provides a shake action to shake the screen, and if multiple objects have the scroll to behavior, it will center the view in between all of them. Okay, that's pretty useful. If you need more advanced scrolling, limited certain regions to certain regions, or following the player after a delay, scroll to an invisible object which you control through events. To scroll, the size of the layout must be bigger than the project's viewport size, or the layout's unbounded scrolling property must be enabled. Okay, that makes sense. So right, if we don't have unbounded scrolling enabled, it will just scroll around the layout and lock the edges to the corners. Okay, I understand that. Okay, so so we understand what is happening here. Let's just have a quick at the rest of the stuff. So basically it's just got scroll to properties enabled, and then scroll action set enabled, and shake. So let's just go back to construct and just do a quick demonstration of what's happening here. So if we make the layout, what is it now? It's 640 wide, so let's make it 1280, so double the size. So now we've made the layout twice the width. And what we do now, if we untick unbounded scrolling, what's going to happen is it's going to start in, as you see, it's going to be locked to the corner there. Okay, and when we stretch it, it only really takes into consideration the size of the layout we've set. Okay, and then I mean, if you make the screen really wide, then it'll show more out here because of our scale outer setting. Now if we move, okay, let's just make it the size which we started it with, which is I'll just do this, okay, about here. Okay, if we move Blocky, then it will move all the way there and then stop scrolling, as you see. So basically it is only going to, I'll just play again instead of looking for it. It is only going to scroll to, see what I mean? So that's how big our level is. Okay, so this is really cool for like platform games and stuff where you don't want to be allowing the player to go past a certain point scrolling wise. Now if we, however, make the layout the same size it was before, okay, and we tick unbounded scrolling, that means the screen will always center and you can scroll basically in any direction. Okay, so if I enabled up and down, let's just do that really quickly, then you would be able to do that too, 4 directions. Okay, so if you go up and down, same thing will happen. All right, so basically now it will follow the player anywhere. Now our player has deceleration, so that sort of looks like it's nicely easing. However, if you didn't want to have a deceleration on the player and acceleration 0 as well, should it be good, or do I need to set it high? Okay, let's see what happens if I do that. Okay, so acceleration needs to be high, deceleration is just going to be 0. Okay, let's just set it to 1000 or something. Okay, in this case Oh, okay, so deceleration needs to be high. The number needs to be high as well for it to work faster. Okay, so we might want to set it even higher. Let's just set it to like 10,000 so it sort of happens immediately. I don't want it to ease in much at all. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Something along these lines, okay? So as you see now, it is basically a start and stop, right? That's how it's working. So if you wanted a camera to follow the object, but you wanted the object to be really precise in the movement, so you can really line up, you don't want to have any deceleration sliding on it, etc. What you would really want to do is remove the behavior, the scroll to behavior, and instead you would want to add another object. And I'm going to make this one small. This is going to be a camera object, okay? So I'm just going to fill it white, and we're going to check it over the top here. Now we're going to attach the scroll to behavior to it. It's enabled. Now when we move blocky, nothing is going to happen, okay? Because the camera has a scroll to behavior and we're not moving the camera just yet. Now, really simple way of having the camera follow blocky would be to attach a tween behavior to it, and we're gonna tween the camera to the object. Now, I don't like using the always. There is a every where is it? We've got every X seconds and every tick. Yeah, I think it's every tick. There you go. This action here, okay? Basically that happens every tick, always, okay? Now this one can be quite resource heavy and take a lot of power, and I think that it can be overused. So I like using this every X seconds and giving it a little bit of a break, not using it, not throwing so much at it, by having it run maybe every 0.1 seconds, which should be sufficient in this case. So we're just going to do every 0.1 seconds, and we're going to go, let's just rename this so we kind of know what we're talking about. We're going to call it cam, and I'm going to go back here and add action and cam tween, and we're going to go tween to properties, position, and we're going to type in blocky dot x and blocky dot y, okay? And we're going to do this over 0.5 seconds. Let's see what that looks like. Now, because we're tweening the camera to the object, the camera is nicely following our player around. Now the player has 4 direction enabled, so he can only move in 4 directions, not 8. But the camera is nicely following it around wherever blocky goes, okay? Pretty simple way of doing this. I'm sure there are more efficient ways possibly, and that's sort of like a topic for another episode, where I could I will do an episode on where I make a prototype on scrolling, try and make it the most efficient, make it run really well. But I do find that this is a really simple way of doing this, and it seems to work pretty well, and doesn't seem to be having any detrimental effects. I might do a little bit of investigation, but again, just as a demonstration, this is working really nicely. Now, the other thing you can do is, if you really hand a little feature, and this is one that's used in games a lot, and I really love it because I use this all the time. Let's say we want to shake the screen, okay? So we're going to add a touch object, just again demonstration purposes. Now I'm going to add an event here, basically saying when you touch the screen, so on any touch, or let's just say on any touch start, we're going to go cam and shake. Now you can set the magnitude, the duration, and reducing or constant. So if we set this to, let's say 100, really big shake, so that's 100 pixels, and slowly over 0.5 seconds, it's getting 0.4 seconds, it's getting smaller, okay? If you select constant magnitude, then it's going to shake for 0.4 seconds at 100 pixels all the time at the same rate. Okay, it's not going to reduce. So imagine it like an earthquake. It's always happening and it suddenly stops. The other one, it's shaking, 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 and the shake reduces over 0.4 seconds. So let's have a look at what this looks like. So when I can move Blocky around, sweet, working perfectly. And if we tap, shake. Remember, for the shake to work, you need to have this selected, okay? Otherwise the shake will not work. You can still scroll, as I demonstrated before, by having the layout bigger than the the layout bigger than the what's it called, viewport size. Okay, so the viewport size is 640 by 960, and the layout, if you set it a little bit bigger, twice, whatever, however you want your level to be, then you can still scroll around. But for the shake effect, it needs to have the unbounded camera so it can shake. Right, I think that's about it on this one. There's really, you can do so much with this one, and it's such a handy behavior, but it's really easy to use. And as you see, such a simple camera system that I mean, honestly, I'm loving Construct more and more. Something like this would take me ages to prototype in another engine or language or whatever, and this is just so simple. You can check a couple of sprites on the screen, use little boxes for the camera. It's super simple. I'm loving this engine. So hopefully this helps you guys. And what are we looking at next week? I just want to see. Let's have a look. So next week we are going to be looking at the timer. That's a cool one, and again, very, very useful. All these are just super awesome. Can't wait for Tween. There's so much to talk about there. All right guys, hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next time.